So now the Mueller report has been out for some time now, and Trump has still not read it. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's because it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't read. And two, because of this. All right, so that was pretty difficult to hear. I understand that. But basically, Caitlin Collins had asked if, basically about his aides, Trump's aides, disobeying him, right? Disobeying his orders to do basically illegal things on his behalf, as chronicled in the Mueller report. He said, quote, "Nobody disobeys my orders." Now, wait, that's curious. Now, the thing is that Caitlin Collins, she read the Mueller report, right? So she knows all the different times that people decided not to follow Trump's orders because they would be illegal. That's why she asked the question. And he said his response was, as I mentioned, nobody disobeys my orders. Well, that's not true. That's a complete fabrication. Why you lying? Why you always got to be lying, dude? Seriously. And let me give you an example of why these are lies. He said, or I should say, the report mentioned White House counsel Don McGahn. Now, Don McGahn told Mueller that he refused to comply with the president's order to terminate the special counsel, and then refused his order to retract his testimony, saying he'd been ordered to fire Mueller. So at first, now, he wouldn't fire Mueller, and then when he testified and said, "Look, I was asked to fire Mueller, and I declined," once that testimony got out, Trump's like, "You need to take that back. You need to unsay that." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Come on. Like, what are we doing? No, you told me that. And I said, no, I'm under oath. And I'm not going to lie for you, not on your behalf. No, I'm going to, I mean, what am I, stupid? No, of course not." So those are some illegal orders, right? And that would get McGahn into a lot of trouble. And so that would have been, of course, a clear case of obstruction. Now, what McGahn did is that he instead protected both himself and, by extension, his boss by not doing those illegal things. There's more. Corey Lewandowski also admitted under oath that he did not carry out the president's plan to tell former Attorney General Jeff Sessions to unrecuse himself from overseeing the Mueller probe. Now, look, the whole reason that Mueller was appointed is because Jeff Sessions had recused himself and put Rod Rosenstein in charge. Rosenstein then appointed Mueller to do the investigation, which was, as I said, very limited in scope. And that made Trump very, very angry. And of course, he went on this just campaign of trying to push Sessions out or get Sessions to unrecuse himself from this, as he had already recused himself. "No, you're going to unrecuse yourself so that you can protect me. You are my attorney general." Attorney general doesn't mean that you're the personal lawyer to the president. It means you're the acting law enforcement, top law enforcement official of the country, of the nation. You're supposed to uphold the nation's laws. You are not a defender of the president. Unfortunately, William Barr has perverted that and has acted more like Trump's lawyer than anyone else. So, there's more. FBI Director James Comey also told Mueller that he refused the president's request to end the FBI's investigation into Michael Flynn. Again, that seems to be obstruction, not into an investigation into himself, but of course, in the case of Michael Flynn. So it seemed like he really wanted to obstruct justice. I mean, it was found in the report that he had done it at about 10 separate occasions. Now remember, the report said, quote, "If we had confidence that after our thorough investigation, the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we'd say that, but we can't." That's not an exoneration. In fact, the special counsel team says the president can be charged with obstruction later on after they leave the White House. So now that's interesting, right? Because he did obstruction, and Mueller says, "I can't exonerate you." Now, William Barr took it in a different direction, of course, since we all know that. But that's what the report itself states. And so Trump leaves office. It's fair game. Now, of course, that's not great if the goal here is to remove Trump. And I understand that there's a lot of Democrats that feel that way, right? That we just want to get Trump out. We just want to get Trump out. I actually think that's wrong. Yes, I want Trump I do want Trump gone, right? However, it shouldn't be through this. I think the goal here, if we move forward towards impeachment or punishing Trump, it's because we want to hold these elected officials accountable. It doesn't matter who it is, whether they're in office or not, whether you agree with them politically or not. And I don't agree with Trump's politics, and I think you guys know that already. But I think that we should have a president that actually is held account for any abuses of power or any possible crimes that he did while in office or when he was in pursuit of this office. I mean, I don't really want the whole look forward, not backwards thing when it comes to the president. Okay? Not interested in that. I was irritated when President Obama, I was pissed off actually, when President Obama said, we only look forward, not backwards. And so, no, I'm not interested in this. And now as far as nobody disobeying his orders, no, as you can see, there's a lot of people that disobeyed his orders. It happened a lot when he was a businessman too. Most people around him, I think, ignore at least half of what he wants them to do because most of it's illegal anyway. And it turns out that if you just ignore him, most of the time you'll be able to get away with it. And so, I mean, why do things that are illegal on behalf of Donald Trump? Only a fool would do that. Because you know that he's going to throw you under the bus anyway. Because, look, that's who he is. And we know this, and it's documented. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.